So one of the things that I've really been studying lately is this word humility. And I think what you're really talking about and putting, loving people, putting other people's dreams and goals sometimes first, right? Before your own and putting them first. And one of the questions that, you love to talk about is really how do you walk boldly in your giftedness or your strengths with true humility? And I want to unpack that word because humility, it's a word that gets thrown around so much, and I think it just gets watered down. And I don't know, to be humble, and obviously it's a Christian word, and Christ, was the most humble person dying on the cross for all of us. But um, I want to unpack that with you. Like, what do you think that means?
Yeah. So kind of staying in that vein right there, I think one of the things that are killing a lot of people in the church is false humility, and
Mm.
I think it's killing a lot of probably other people as well. But if you're cool with, it, I'll give you my definition of true humility, and then I'd like to just kind of share a super quick story with that because it's been a journey for me, and the journey kind of was when I had a couple of people say, "Man, you're the most humble person I've ever met." I was like, "I don't know what that means," and
Thank
and
you.
and I say that because I struggled with humility for a long time. But the way I define humility is recognizing your own gifts, talents, and abilities. It's recognizing that I am gifted, I am talented, right? I understand that I'm gifted, but I'm using those gifts and talents to serve other people.
Hmm.
That it's not about me.
Mhm.
But what I see a lot of times is we hold those gifts back because we think it's arrogant. And that's not the heart of it. It's I'm using my gifts because I recognize them to serve other people.
I
And
like that.
it's taken me a journey on that. So um, I, I was born and raised here in North Mississippi. I was raised by my mom and my grandmother, and that's when I was about three. My dad he left. He took a piece of paper and he taped it to the door of our trailer and said he was leaving to Chicago to live with another woman. And I was raised by my mom and my grandmother, but
Mm.
um, and I can still hear my grandmother's voice to this day. We had been at her house and she'd say, "Boys, get out here." And I'd get up and we'd walk out onto her carport. And Brett, she would have her car jacked up with the driver's side tire laid over, and she'd say, "Pick it up and put it back on." And I'm like five trying to lift this tire, I can't even lift it. And she'd have us in her bathroom, hover over the toilet, just trying to unclog this unclogged toilet. There's nothing wrong with the toilet, right?
Mhm.
But she was living out that old John Wooden quote that said, "When opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare."
Mm.
And they loved us very much, but it was really in that environment I was programmed to believe certain things, programmed to believe things about you and your listeners, and programmed to believe things about me and myself. And you've probably heard some of the idioms: you got to be in the right place at the right time, money doesn't grow on trees, all those
Mhm.
things. But the one saying that affected me the most in the most negative way was stay humble.
Mm.
And it sounds good. It sounds good if you understand what humility really is, but I didn't. I didn't understand what humility was. See, I thought humility was thinking other people were better than me and that I was less than. So, because of that, I lacked a lot of self confidence. I decided to go to college to be a physical therapist assistant because I didn't think I was smart enough to be a real physical
Mhm.
therapist. I had an invitation to play college baseball, walk on to play college baseball, but because I knew in my heart and in my mind the catcher that team already had was way better than me, and I didn't deserve to be on the same field as that dude, I did not even show up for my own tryout. And
Mm.
it was all because I had this limiting belief around stay humble. And what really helped me was I heard Adrian Rogers teaching on humility. And he said, humility is a form of rebellion. I was like, wow, that's a that's an interesting take,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he said, we've all got these gifts and these talents, and what we think is once we start to use these gifts and we start to let them shine, then we call that arrogance. And he said, that's not arrogance, that's awareness. And the moment you step in and you don't bring that forward, the moment you step in and you decide to hold back and settle for something less, because you're having a sense of humility, then that's rebellion against the gifts that God has freely given you. And that was a really ding, ding, ding moment for me. So you've probably heard the saying that humility isn't thinking less of yourself, but it's thinking of yourself less. And
Right.
100% agree with that. But I think too, it's recognizing where you're talented at, where your strengths lie, staying in that strength zone, using those things, but doing it to serve and add value to other people. So that's kind of my thoughts around humility, and still working with that some too.
No, that's good. I mean, I think I'm the same way. I try to be, it's funny because like if you really try to be humble, it doesn't, it's like you can't do it, right? It's, so I think it does like hold me back some too. And I've caught myself, well, I don't want to sound arrogant, so I'm just not going to show up or something. And so that's a good take on it. I really appreciate that. I think that humility is, it's like the top character trait or virtue that I think it's just the best, right? And I think that if you can really, it's such a hard thing to do, is because you can't force humility, but each day you got to wake up thinking, how can I serve other people with the gifts that God given me? So that's awesome. Thanks for
one other little saying on that. I think of, you got almost like a long pole, and on this pole on one end you have hot and the other end is cold. So, it's opposites. Well, there's a pole of humility too. And on one end you have that arrogance that says, look at me, look at me. And then on the other end is that false humility that says, oh, woe is me, woe is me. But look at me and look at me, and woe is me, both point back to me. And true humility is right there in the middle, where it's not about me, right? It's about the other people. So
I like that. That's awesome. That sounds good. So you sold your businesses, and now you're a lead. You train other leaders. You speak. You're a consultant. Trained by the John Maxwell team. So tell us about like what types of people are you looking for right now? Who do you work with? What's that look like?
Yeah. I'm really looking for leaders. So people who are passionate about making an impact, looking for entrepreneurs and guys who maybe have a business, or maybe serving a leadership role in those businesses. I don't really like working with people who are complacent and content. I'm looking for people who, no matter at the success level, that want to go to even higher levels of success. And I consider success impact of other people, on the lives of other people. So one of the things that we're really doing right now is working with a lot of teams, because my true heart is to influence and impact people in a positive way. There's such a need for positive influence right now. And so that's why I love going into teams and working with teams, because I can work with multiple people at a time. And also in these men's mastermind groups that we have going on, I found when we had our business that, I wanted to grow. So I would go to the courses and the seminars and the webinars and read the books, but I didn't have that group of guys that I could go to hold me accountable to what I said I was going to do. They could serve as guardrails as I wanted to grow my business, but not at the expense of other things. And then that I could also bounce ideas off of, that actually understood what I was going through. So really people who are looking to make an impact, whether in their communities and their businesses or families. So just not complacent people.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned mastermind a couple of times, so it sounds like that's one of the things that you do, and I think maybe that's a key thing that you help form mastermind groups with men. It sounds like you don't mix with men and women. So talk to us about that. Like, why do you think that is so important to the growth of a leader?
Yeah. I think it's very vital to be in an environment of growth, and you think about any kind of seed. If I had an apple seed and I put it in my pocket and carried it around for 10 years, it'll never become what it was designed to become, because it's not in the right environment. And for leaders to grow, there's a certain environment that's conducive to growth. And, obviously I do leadership training with women and do stuff within businesses, but there are some things that guys just, I can relate to men. There's some things that men really need to communicate. And if they have a safe space to do that with other guys, that, you know, I think isolation is an enemy, right? It's the enemy. And I want to get guys out of that isolation into a group where they can grow, but a safe space to grow and share some of their struggles, but also people who will celebrate their wins, who want the best for them and not have a competitive against you attitude, but I really want to see you succeed. Right. Mm-hmm. So they're competitive, but not against you. So, and that's why I feel like it's very important to be in that kind of stuff.
Thank you so much for checking out the Brett Snodgrass channel. If you like this video, please slam on that like button. And if you really like it, then subscribe to our channel here. And remember to leave us a comment below, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Every single week, I come out with content that focuses on success, freedom, and living out your purpose. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.